Hi everyone, here's some information about completing your final assignment on creating an interpersonal and communication skills assessment tool. After the two lectures and reviewing the materials and articles that I sent you, you should be able to construct this. It'll take you probably a couple hours to think through the issues, but the ultimate goal is that you're going to use your tool to evaluate two standardized patient encounters, which I will post, so more about that later. But here's how to complete the assignment. I will upload a template for you to fill out, and at the top left hand corner you'll see you write in your own name, and then when you look at the first column at the top it says rubric name. Change that and name your tool. It's up to you how you want to do this. You can call it anything that you'd like, something about communication I suppose, but name your communication tool. And then you'll see numbers 1 through 5. What I'd like you to do is to name 5 dimensions of communication that you would like your rubric to assess. And here I got it started with the dimension of rapport building. Rapport, the ability to establish and maintain a positive and respectful relationship. So you're going to build your rubric based on 5 dimensions that you think are important, and name the dimension and then come up with a definition. You'll see that on the right hand side is how you're going to use this to rate the videos. We've got a 5-point Likert scale, and ranging from 1 to 5, 1 and 2 being lower quality, 4 and 5 being higher quality, and 3 being mixed quality. It's very similar to the PARS rating scale that I reviewed. It's just a smaller scale that might be easier to manage. So fill in the 5 dimensions and define them. This is what you would have to do if you were training a rater to use your rubric in order to assess communication. Now, to add some meat to this, you'll see in the template spaces for the 5 dimensions. So in dimension 1, I'm just assuming, for example, as rapport. Let's say that was your first dimension. Under the lower quality anchors, we're talking about behavioral anchors. How will people know what lower quality rapport is? You have to spell it out. So you'd list at least 6 specific behaviors under lower quality dimension 1 that would help the rater to understand when the behaviors either occurred or didn't. So here I started with didn't introduce self. I kind of started in the order of how this thing might unfold. Doesn't ask the patient how they would like to be addressed, etc., etc., etc. What would be other observable, concrete behaviors that a rater would observe that would go into their rating of lower quality skills? Abruptly ended encounter. So it starts off with introducing oneself, ends with abruptly ending the encounter. It doesn't always go like this, depending on what you're assessing, but I'm just doing this to get you started. On the right hand side, I list some of the positive higher quality dimensions, or rather anchors, that you would think about. So, for example, introducing self to the patient, asking the patient what he or she would like to be called, and I ended it on courteous closure. This is just an example of how you're going to build your rubric. Because it's a behaviorally anchored rating scale, you want the specific behaviors that you want the person using it, yourself that is, to take into consideration when coming up with the ratings. And so what I'd like you to do, though, is to go back and look at the PARS rating scale. Just to, again, here's an example of what the filled in dimensions would look like, or rather anchors would look like. I give a lot of detail. I give some specific examples. You can make this as detailed as you like. You can include examples if you'd like, but I try to include at least 6 behavioral anchors per dimension. The next step would be to rate 2 videos using your rubric, and I will post them. And you'll have a chance to look at the videos and then use your rubric to score. And here is the schedule of when this is due. I bumped this up a bit because I'm late getting this to you, but the interpersonal skills assessment rubric is due on July 8th. If you want some feedback from me, I would recommend that you send it to me as soon as you can, and I will be happy to give you some feedback. You can email this to me, but you're going to post your completed assignment in the assignment section by July 8th. Now, the week of July 9th, that's when you're going to spend some time looking at the 2 videos and rate them. And they're not long. They're about 10 to 15-minute videos. You're going to do your scoring on your rubric and email me your ratings by July 17th. And then our final synchronous session is Thursday, July 19th. And at that time, I will present the results. I'll do a compilation of all your ratings and put it together and see how your rubrics compare to each other. So that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll be talking about this tonight during our synchronous session as well. Thanks. Talk to you soon.